Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Tamara's Tarot Oracle. As promised, I will be discussing the minor arcana of the same deck, the Greer Tarot. And I don't have a lot of time, so I think I'm going to divide the minor arcana into 4 sections as they appear in 4 separate suits. So today I wanted to tell you all about the suit of Wands. And before I get into that, I just wanted to mention that the minor arcana means small mysteries or small secrets. So unlike the major arcana, the minor arcana are within the earthly or physical realm, and therefore we have more control over those things. They represent the day-to-day mundane activity and events of every day. And although they are important in a reading, they are not as, or they don't hold as much weight as the major arcana, which are cards that ultimately are more out of our control and are pretty much fated to happen or destined to happen. But the minor arcana are the things that, because we have more control over, we are able to sort of sway the outcome and intervene more and circumvent even. And so the minor arcana does play its own significant role. The minor arcana is 56 cards, and they are divided up into 4 suits, each suit containing 14 cards, 1 through 10, and then the 4 court cards. And in this particular deck, the Greer Tarot, it would be Page, Knight, Queen, and King. Whereas other decks, it may differ. But I don't want to get into that, so we'll stick with the example that I'm using. The Wand suit is a very fiery, very passionate, very dynamic, career-oriented, entrepreneurial, action-oriented suit. And it's the go-get-it suit, and it's the suit that, you know, it possesses drive and motivation and ambition and all those amazing things that will advance you in life. It's a great suit. It is a hard-working suit, and it is a suit that in this particular deck is not named the wand suit, but rather the rods. And that's just this particular illustrator's interpretation or creator. Now we begin with the Ace of Rods, and the Ace of Rods is like the unlimited, unchecked potential of what could be if you utilize the message that comes with this card. So it is an abundance of spirit, of free will and determination and desire and drive and passion and fire and taking action. So it's more of a masculine energy, as it's more aggressive. The Ace of Rods is about initiation. It's about, taking all those great ideas and basically having the possibilities of them just being endless and being able to do so much with them. So this card is like the birth of, the spark of the idea that kickstarts the entire project, or a business endeavor, or anything that results in creativity and advancing oneself and attaining success and that kind of thing. So the Ace is a very fortuitous card, and it means so many wonderful things pertaining to the suit of rods, the suit of fire, as some decks call it. And the suit of fire is just about going after what you want. And this card, when this card shows up in a reading, it's a pretty good sign that you have all this unchecked potential, and it's just a matter of harnessing it and going about it in the right way so you may attain your ultimate goal or goals. The Two of Wands is about planning. It's about assessing what needs to be done. It's collecting the tools and the resources and the materials that are needed and necessary in order to continue on with whatever idea, creative project, business endeavor, passionate love affair, whatever you want to call it, because those are all things that are within the realm of the suit of wands, or rods in this case. And it's about, sort of not yet taking action. You want to make sure that you sort of have all your ducks in a row and everything's good to go. And you've finished your degree or some kind of education or something like that, and so you have all the knowledge and all the resources and all the things that are going to be required in putting forth the energy that is needed in order to fulfill the outcome that is desired. Number 3, the Three of Rods, is, I believe, opportunity. It's looking at the world with great big, childlike wonder, like great big open eyes, and just looking at anything and everything as an endless possibility and an opportunity to expand your horizons. This could be whether you venture out on your own or in a group setting, forming partnerships and things like that, so long as everyone is on the same path, working towards the same, end goal, and has the same end in sight, because only then will the machine work smoothly, right? When all the parts are put into place and everything is working in unity and working towards the same outcome. So this is a very positive card. This is a very uplifting card, because it's like, okay, things are underway, the action started and things are happening. Things are really moving along. So it's a very, very positive card. The Four of Rods is about celebration. It's about completion. So you've finished the first phase, and now it's time to, almost in a way, sit back and see what you've accomplished, see how far you've come, and appreciate and admire all the hard work that's gone into it, and how far you've succeeded on your journey thus far. There's still more work to be done. It's not over yet, but we should always acknowledge the little things as we go along each and every step of the way, and then that way we can process the journey as it's happening, because it's not so much about the final destination as it is about the experiences and the knowledge and all that kind of thing that comes along with going through the process, the creative process, and the all that kind of thing. So this could also signify, maybe a marriage or something that has really, you've gotten to the point where it's just moved along so nicely, and all that energy and all that fire and passion and desire and everything is being celebrated for, coming to a point where there's stability, and there, you have a structure, and a solid structure and a solid foundation. So when you continue on, you have this really stable place to build from and to continue to grow from. So that's the Four of Wands, or Rods, I should say. The Five of Rods is about conflict, competition. It's not just external conflict, it's very much internal conflict as well, depending on the situation you find yourself. But it is one that, if you take the high road and use your logic and common sense and all that kind of thing, you are able to, rise above and not allow yourself to be belittled or feel like you've been defeated. Perhaps everyone's viewpoints are just equally as important, and it takes one person to be able to acknowledge that and hopefully calm everyone else and set the wheels in motion so that conflict can be turned into something a little bit more productive. Not that conflict's necessarily a bad thing. It certainly does, convey different ideas. But if it was, if it's sort of honed in a more positive manner, then this could be the birth of more great ideas and other ideas of how to work together and how to, writing down a list of pros and cons and what's going to work and what may not work and maybe what the majority feel more comfortable with and discussing things like that. I think great discussion can lead to so many wonderful resolutions and even more endless possibilities. So it's all about your state of mind when you are faced with some sort of conflict that may very well result from competition or even just the high standards that we put on ourselves on a day-to-day basis. The Six of Rods is about victory. It's about being singled out for your, that particular victory or success, accomplishment that you have achieved, and it's about reaping the rewards and collecting the accolades that people are throwing your way. And it's a great card. It's also a card to remind us that it's all very well to be recognized for our efforts. We all need to, just as children need praise, so do adults. And if we're not told sincerely that we're doing a good job and be more specific about the things that we are doing that are resulting in a more positive outcome, then we tend to want to slack off, or we don't seem to care as much all the time, or we kind of feel a little bit fed up, or maybe we're not being noticed for all the effort and all the hard work we're putting in. So it's really important to take the time out and acknowledge that and recognize that in other people and yourself. And it's like, oh, I did really well today. I had a good day, and really acknowledge that, because that's important. But not to, let it go to your head to the point where, your ego's inflated and it's all about me, and because there needs to be that balance. And I think that's important too, to do it in a very humble fashion. Your humility and your integrity is still intact. That's very important. The Seven of Rods is having the courage to face adversity, because there's always going to be adversity in some form or another. But in this particular depiction, this guy, he has the upper hand. I mean, he has the higher ground. He's much higher than the rest of the rods, as you can see, and I hope you can see. And he, he's got it. He's got it. But sometimes you just have to defend your position. And you don't have to do it in a ruthless or malicious fashion, but certainly letting people know where you stand and what's acceptable to you and what simply isn't. Okay. I love the Eight of Wands because this is all about swift movement, signals, typically in the realm of communication, oftentimes to do with relationships. Things are happening, and they're happening fast. And the likelihood of the outcome is usually positive. It also depends on the surrounding cards in the spread. But this basically, this is like, it's happening, and you're going to get results. And, for the most part, they're going to be pretty good. And you just have to keep an open mind and try and be as positive as you can. And it's a great time when this card shows up to communicate certain feelings, because with the Suit of Wands or Rods in this case, it's about the desire and the innate love that you have, your zest or zeal for life, and the energetic, energy that you put out into the universe and things like that. So that's a really powerful, positive card. And I really like this one a lot. The Nine of Rods is about discipline. It's about perseverance, like hang in there. I know you're tired and you're growing weary and you've come so far in your journey, whatever it may be, but you just have a little further to go. And sometimes, you may have moments of paranoia set in, like, oh gosh, somebody's going to take this away from me, or what if this doesn't last, or what if I don't get to the final stage, or, and completion and all that, and what if, and we all sort of become our own worst enemies. But this is just about holding strong and true to your beliefs and believing that it will work out and that you're almost there. So to hang in, you're almost there. The Ten of Wands is about oppression, being overburdened, taking on too much work. Sometimes we feel like we need to prove things to ourselves and maybe even others. And that's okay. We all put ourselves through tests, and that's all part of soul growth. Sometimes it's okay to ask for help. Just to know that, you know, when you are when you have completed whatever it is you were set out to do, you know, now you need to maintain that level of intensity, and that can be quite draining and limiting. So it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to seek advice, and it's okay to do that, and to be realistic and keep the things that are most important to you, the things that have been working, and maybe get rid of the things that might be hindering you more than healing or progressing. So that's the 10 of Rods. Now we get into our quartz. They are the trickiest cards of the tarot to learn. I'm still, you know, in the learning process, where, I mean, we all are, I think, even the more advanced tarot readers out there. I mean, you're learning constantly, every day, something new. I mean, there's so many layers to tarot, and that's what makes it so fascinating and so mind-blowing. And so we start with the Page of Rods, and he's equivalent to a child or someone young at heart, a young soul. And, you know, it's like answering the call of the wild. Here's somebody who's just daring and impulsive and fiery and passionate and has all these great ideas and just goes for it, but can also be quick to temper and fizzle out. So the energy isn't super maintained or consistent with such a young person, because they have yet to experience, which they will, but because they are young, you know, they have to do that in order to balance things out. So, but it's just such a, I love it. It's like they look at everything with childlike wonder. And I keep saying that, but it's really the best way to describe it. And anything's a possibility. And, you know, they just have this fiery nature, and they're fun, and, you know, fun-loving and adventuresome and active and kind and warm-hearted, and just a great energy altogether. The Knight is I look at him like the dragon slayer. He's very ambitious, and, you know, he just is full of fire and passion, and this card often also signifies travel. And yeah, I know, he's just a really fun guy, and he's always up for adventure and a good time, and, you know, he's pretty courageous and bold and isn't afraid of anything. So that's a really fun card to get. The Queen of Rods is a very fiery, passionate woman. I think of inspiration when I think of her, but she's also a very warm and loving, humorous person, a wonderful mother and wife, and loves her animals, and she's just such a bright, beautiful energy. So that's the Queen of Rods. And last we have the King of Rods, who's very dynamic and ambitious, and he takes things that have already been formed and developed, and he makes them into his own. So I like to look at him as like the innovator, and he's very bold, like very robust, and, you know, but he has a great sense of humor, and he's a very warm and loving husband and father, and yeah, full of fire and passion and all those things that contribute to the suit of rods. So that is the suit of wands, or in this particular deck.